Kairete pantes, piloi kai pila belistoi in epitesges. Today I want to talk about the question of why transcription. A bit of a setup question, in the sense that I want to talk about something I've been doing lately that I think would help quite a few people, and that is I've been transcribing Greek texts. I don't mean transcription in the sense of I have a stack of manuscripts sitting around and I'm copying them out, or transcribing papyri and making critical additions. What I mean is getting a text, getting any kind of Greek text, and making a copy of it myself. For me, that's usually typing, although I also recommend doing some copying by hand. And well, let me talk about my understanding of the research. My understanding of the research is that simply copying things out doesn't have a great benefit for acquisition. As far as I know, there's no research backing that thought up. But in my own experience, I think there is some benefit, and that's why I keep doing it. So firstly, what it does is it forces me to engage with the text. I mean, of course, it's possible to copy things without thinking about them. But for me, it says, okay, here's a text I want to read, or here's the text I'm working with. I'm going to copy it out, and I'm going to spend a bit of time to get it right, and I'm going to read it a couple of times over for meaning as well. So I'm not just copying, I'm reading for meaning as well. And I'm looking up any words I don't know, and if there's anything strange there, I'll also look for what that might be. The second thing I think it really helps with is orthography, that is writing itself. There is a bit of a disjunct between the way ancient Greek is spoken, whatever pronunciation scheme you're using, and the way it's written. And although it's very important, in my opinion, to learn to speak Greek well, get vowel lengths down, accent in the right place, learning to do those things by typing out Greek that's well written is very helpful. I find that I know where accents go on words, especially because I've been copying them out. And even more so now, I have a good sense of where long iota, long alpha, and long upsilon occur. I know kind of which words they appear on and where I might expect them. And if I'm unsure, I go and check. So that's really one of the benefits for me. Secondly, I end up with a great resource file where I'm familiar with the text and I can go and look at them. I can use them for my own teaching purposes, those kinds of things. And so what sort of text should you transcribe? I would recommend starting with a text that you're working with. If you're a learner, pick something that is actually your textbook. So, for example, as you know, many of you know, I teach a lot with Atenas there. Atenas there I really like because it marks those long vowels for alpha, iota, and upsilon, which many textbooks do not. I've been transcribing my way all the way through that textbook, and incredibly useful for me personally as a student of the Greek language and as a teacher. Beyond that, I would say get some easy Greek that could be digitized. And so here's where I transition into a little bit of a pitch. There is a project called the Easy Greek Texts Project, designed to take texts, the early 19th century, early 20th century texts that were written to be easy introductions to Greek, that are full of passages designed mostly for English schoolboys, let's be honest. But there's a wealth of material there that could be digitized and used in some kind of digital platform. And so one option is to transcribe it. Another option is to OCR it and then correct it, to use optical character recognition, which gives pretty good results, and then to go through and just edit and correct it. That would probably give better overall results, but it will be less useful to you personally. But again, if someone transcribed it and someone else checked it, I think the results would be pretty good. So that's a project I'm involved with. If you want to know a bit more about that, let me know and I'll connect you. Some of the texts I'm transcribing, apart from Atenas there, are Stoffel's Epitome of the New Testament. It has been OCR'd, but I go through it, I correct it, and I add some of those long vowel macrons. Charles Moss's First Greek Reader, Chambers' Greek War of Independence, and I just started Graecula, because it was entertaining. Anything with short episodic texts that might pique your interest, get you spending a bit more time in Greek, get you practicing writing, even if it's copying out text, and just it gets you spending more time in the Greek. And if you can turn that into a resource for others, even better. So that's my pitch for transcribing. Let me say it works for Latin as well, particularly learning a vowel length. It's one thing, of course, to hear a vowel length in spoken Latin. It's excellent, but it's also very useful to be practicing copying out, for example, Familia Romana, picking up vowel lengths by that way. Let me make one last point. That's particularly for students of Biblical Greek and the New Testament. One assignment that I usually give my students, if I have them, is to copy out a page of the New Testament by hand. I think the value of that is you see what it's like in a tiny way to be a scribe. That is the textual process of manual reproduction of a text. You suddenly become aware of how slow it is, how painstaking it is, and what sort of errors are made because you experience them yourself. So that's it for me on transcription. And again, if you want to get involved with transcribing some texts that could be digitized, let me know in the comments or send me an email.